Diana.
Hello.
Here we are again.
Yep.
Discussing a topic that has been on my mind for quite a while, and I think it has been on your mind as well for quite a while, and that is...
Cheers.
Cheers. The question of an age gap in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And whether it's a good or a bad thing, or what we can make of it. But maybe because we are scientists, I mean, you're a psychologist, I'm a lawyer. What does it mean, an age gap? I mean, do we talk about, especially when we talk about people who are 50 plus, do we talk about 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
No, 2 years is not an age gap. 2 years is the normality.
Yes.
It's, otherwise, you would like to find somebody born the same date as you, from no age gap at all, or the same year, etc.
Which actually does happen, but it makes
it's not
birthdays so
certain
complicated.
that it's a good thing, actually. I don't know. I haven't investigated this topic. But yeah, age gap for me is something that is decades away. It's like I'm 50, it's either 60 or 40.
Yes.
That's when we need to consider it as a factor in the relationship. That's my opinion. From my experience so far, it's actually a very important factor.
So we talk about a decade.
Yeah.
That's our topic here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, 50, 60.
And I can cover Okay, let me start with the easy thing, which is the older men.
Yes.
Because the pros in dating an older man is that, first of all, you look young.
That's fantastic for the woman.
Exactly, as compared to the guy, you are a young lady.
Yes.
And you don't have to care about your appearance and how much care you have to take of yourself, and that could be cool.
Yes.
That's the good thing.
Yes.
The second good thing is that you are expecting these old men to be probably more paternal, more caring, more established, more calm, etc., and to treat you more as a princess. That's the expectation. Yeah. Whether it's like this or not, I don't know. And
it could also play out the other way around. I mean, older men are also a bit more rigid, maybe a bit more conservative.
If they decide, there is an assumption here.
Yes.
If they decide, okay, imagine that they are single at 60.
Yes.
There are several reasons for this. But
they could be divorced, they could be widower.
But if they go into the market of 50-year-old ladies, you suppose that they are more adventurous and that they are open to these new adventures. Why they wouldn't go to 40s or 30s? They do. Actually, that's what they do.
That's what I read in some studies that they try to do that. Yes.
But reasonably, if they have something to say, because if they want to find a body to entertain them, obviously they will go to the 30s and the 40s. But if they want still to have a conversation, they could go to the 50s, because the 10 years gap guarantees that you will have still a younger woman. And so rigidity could be, and it always shows up somehow, because it doesn't matter how flexible you are. At 60, I guess you have some pre-established principles in your head, and routines and habits and stuff like this. But yeah, so this could be a good and a bad thing. The problem for me, and today I'm much more problem-oriented rather than solution-oriented. It's one of these days where I'm not...
Well, we have these days,
where I decided that I will see the world in dark.
Yes, okay. But you look fabulous doing
this.
Thank
you,
I should say
still, that. It's not the brightest day of my life. But anyway, so, I tried the guy, the 60 year. I tried, it's a big word. It was on Tinder, and the gentleman looked good, an actor, not so famous, but still somehow famous. And then it all stopped before it started, because he wrote me, "Oh, you are young and ambitious. I already gave up on all these fights." It was something around work. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is, let me maybe, because this is actually the thing I was thinking about primarily when I tried, and we haven't talked to each other, I should say that. Yeah?
You tried a 60 years old lady?
No, when I tried to set up this podcast, and for the audience, we don't align beforehand. So, but the thing that I was thinking about was exactly this. What do you do if you have somebody who's 10 years older or younger than you and has completely different ambitions from you, is already settling down?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle problem.
Yes.
It's and it's even more true for the younger potential dates, etc., rather than for the older. But still, I'm still working, obviously. I'm neither young nor ambitious.
You love your work.
Yeah, but I'm not overly ambitious. I don't have, you arrive at 52, you don't say to yourself, now I will conquer the world.
Well, knowing you, I would say you are pretty much ambitious.
No,
maybe
come on,
you don't see it like
no,
that. But okay, I hear what you're saying.
My ambition now is to get a decent pension.
Okay.
That's my ambition, and this not through a very shaky path.
But how does it work together with somebody who's already kind of
there.
over all that?
Okay, yeah. So you go there, and we will discuss this for the 40 years old. But you go there, first of all, their financial power is less, unless they are like, really owning businesses, etc. But if they are regular people like me, and they have had a salary, and then they stop, so they have their pension, and so the financial thing is less. Then they're kind of preparing for their retirement, if not they're already. And then you find yourself with plenty of time, I guess.
Yes.
And
you may be annoyed by your partner having to do all this corporate stuff, going to meetings, entertaining the bosses, talking to the underlings.
Exactly, and fighting your own fights, even though they are not the most ambitious ones, you still try to do your work. Yeah. So, and then what this guy would do for me? Cooking, cleaning, stuff like. Why not? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
it's a fantastic thing. But then again, as a guy, I can tell you that, especially talking about rigidity in older men, they would probably not start cooking for you if they haven't done it already throughout their life. Because there is a point for men, and then again, I'm saying this as a man, where you start being less adventurous with age and being very much settled in a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, so unless the guy is a millionaire and has a...
but then there will be
the lady will be... No, and the lady will not be 50. Yeah. The lady will be 30.
But even if she's... I know these people, I have these couples in my circle of friends, and they do have a chef at the yacht. So that's another thing.
That's
probably not the reality for most... not the reality for most people that we know.
But and for me, the big thing with... dating and having a relationship with this 10 years gap is this freaking lifestyle thing. Yes. Because, if you break it down into emotions, financial, time management, or even who you are, because I guess, and it was easier actually for me to talk about the younger situation, but even physical thing, and we are not only talking about sex, we are talking about sicknesses and bugs in your body, like this hurts, that hurts, etc. And how you have noticed that all the people, they start to be focused a lot on what does not function in them rather than what functions.
I couldn't help but notice.
So, and you are there borderline to somebody who will be, when I say borderline, it's like you are not there, but you're almost there, with somebody who is focusing on this. And then I was like, okay, there is some bitterness accumulated when you are probably 60. You are facing your life backwards. You're thinking, okay, what I've done professionally is done. What I will do with my life going forward, how much I have left, and stuff like this. And am I ready? I'm talking about myself, but probably as a woman in their 50s, you still have some illusions that you can still do something exciting.
Well, the illusion that you can actually do something exciting.
But probably they can too. I don't know.
Which is, if I may, because that's the point actually I wanted to make or ask you specifically, because I have some anecdotal stories here, that we treat 60-year-olds as if they're all the same. But then they come in all, while there's of course a distribution curve, they come in all shades and forms and colors. And for example, I could talk about an uncle of mine who, when he stopped working for a big corporation as a lawyer, obviously, he opened his own law firm again, which he can do because you can't be spot. And then he worked for another 15 years, and then he started going on the world tour, following the sun, playing golf, and he literally died with the golf club in his hand on a golf course in Rio de Janeiro, being completely healthy just by a heart stroke. Well, healthy until he died, obviously, because then he was dead. So basically a role model for me. But my point is here, couldn't this be, if aligned well, also be a boon for the 10 years younger partner? Because we have these.
I get it. It's a construct in our hands of the 50 years old who have been born during the 70s, and then during the 70s your grandmother was 60.
Yes.
And at least my grandmother was wearing a scarf and just, waiting to die. You really shrink the areas of your interests. Like you're eating, you're sleeping, you're watching TV, and you are surviving.
Much more introvert, basically.
Yes, and you pick like 5 things, and you go there and you repeat them because it's predictable, and it gives you a comfort, and you know how your days will look like, because nobody will come and provoke you as they do at work to do this or to do that. It's just like, that's why, for example, I didn't want to talk about parents, but my parents, their clock and their organizer are the news. So in the morning, at lunchtime, and they watch the weather forecast. Which is pointless, because why does it matter if it rains or shines? Given that you can stay at home or go out, it's perfectly your choice. You can do whatever. But these are the organizers of your day, and you stick to them, and you know that everything is regulated before, after, etc. And this day looks like the other day, etc. So that's how I have seen my grandmother, now how I see my parents. They're 67, 8, something like this. But it has been like this the last 10 years. But
is that a very personal view of yours, or is that something, then again, you having this look of a psychologist and this view of psychology in the world, is that something you notice on a very general level? I mean, again, talking about the distribution curve.
Obviously, your cognitive capacity is reducing, and there is a very long story about the reduction.
I can tell you, it's already starting. I
will not go there. But there is a separate. No, there is a separate branch of the psychology dealing with older people, with elderly.
Yeah, but why does it start at 50, please?
No, it's not at 50, but when still, your emotions are basically turned to the past. It's normal. You don't have a lot of things to project. You don't know. That's the big question mark you have in your life. You don't know if a heart stroke will kill you at a golf.
Yes, we don't know the hour,
yeah,
as the Bible says.
So you are either you are sitting and waiting, or you are trying to live the wildest, if you can, if you have the financial possibility to do so. Because, and the health. Yes. Anyway, but so in my head, 60, and they all say it's just a figure. It's not. I don't, and you will tell me, I don't. If I tell you I'm Diana, I'm 60 years old, you don't think immediately, oh wow, how sexy. No,
of course, but still, I will tell you one thing. And that is that, indeed, not all 60s are the same. That is actually my working hypothesis, that you have 60s or 50s or 40s, for that matter, just to open this playing field a bit, that are incredibly old or incredibly young. And it's not just...
Isn't it ridiculous? That's something that bothers me.
Yes.
When you are 60 and you try to have this
I'm not saying you
rock
try
and
to.
roll.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't talk about this artificial youngness. I'm talking about being young in attitude, in your head, in your thinking, being open to fresh ideas, being open to developing new aspects to your lifestyle, being open to meeting new, interesting young people. It's also a thing, being open to these social influx things that you get from meeting new ideas, new people.
But have you thought about dating a 60 years old?
Well, I haven't dated 60 years old, but I have dated women in my life who were considerably older than I was.
Yeah, it's not the same. Yes. If you are 30 and you date somebody who is in their 40s, it's not the same.
Okay, so to answer your question straight and without excuses, I would not date a 60-year-old unless there is something like... then again...
you see how... And then you want us to have hope that at 60 I will date what? 70 years old?
Well, then again, I would definitely date somebody who's like 2 or 3 years older, and that's the golden. All the studies say that this is where you should look.
But why you wouldn't date a 60 years old?
I don't know. I would think. Here's the thing. I try to be very, very look into myself and look into my feelings and expectations, and I would say that there is, of course, evolutionary in a guy. There's always this this thing. Youth, fertility.
Come on.
Yes.
It's nonsense. You are reducing all things and all sex into.
Well, we are. It's a very broad brush here, of course, but that's a thing. Evolutionary, I think it's a very strong force.
That's so handy.
It is.
No.
At the end of the day, you have to. No, wait. Hear me out. Of course, and I'm always being. Yeah, I always get my thing here, my slap here every single time. That's my slap, I guess, my slap moment. But then again, I try to defend myself. And I do think that there is something built in us gentlemen, that says, okay, I want my partner to be sexy to me.
And why a 60 years old wouldn't be sexy?
I don't know. I just can tell you it is the
case. Well, I can't have kids anymore. Yeah. So should I stop any sex whatsoever? Because it's I don't know, because if it's the drive behind
it's big fun. No, but my point is that statistically speaking, then again, distribution curve, it's just simply a case, and I put myself here in this distribution curve pretty much in the middle. So I would say I would probably not date a lady who's 10 years older than me. It would probably not happen.
Have you tried at least?
No, I haven't. No.
So it's again a discrepancy. So women are okay to take the guy who is like not very performant, not whatever. Obviously, has 3 spermatozoids that work, but still, and that's okay. Like it's even the life has given a present to this lady to find a. But men will be there. Like I know, I will not.
Then again, you know
what statistically the curve?
No, they are. No, there are statistics on that. You probably have read them. I have read them certainly. There was an article in The Economist about this, citing several studies. And just statistically speaking, it is simply the truth. Men are looking for younger women, and the question. And then again, you can't negotiate it away. It's a simple fact. The question, I think, is this a good or a bad or a terrible thing, or does it depend on the case? That's the question that I'm concerned about, because you can't negotiate with the facts. They are there for you.
Obviously, you can negotiate with the facts, but the facts are changing. It's not something like, as I was telling you, like 20 years ago, 60 years old people were wearing scarf and gardening their tomatoes. Now we are not. We are not doing this. Yeah. These were facts back then, and now there are other facts. So we are the ones changing the facts.
So, but then to go there, because it's a very interesting thing. Do you feel that the culture there is changing, or is it more like a hope that it could change? How do you see that? How do you
I read the lady, and it's very anecdotal. The lady who is in this. Cheesy Netflix thing, Emily in Paris, there is a very, very sexy French lady who was saying, I forgot her name, but very sexy, really wow. And she was saying, I'm sure that one day wrinkles will be the most sexiest the most sexy thing. I don't think so, because men are wired in a different way. I get it, but I still don't want to admit it, that boys will be boys and stuff like this, and which obviously shuts down all intellectual evolution that we hoped arrived to men. We are reducing men to these beasts, just running after their penises because they want to.
They're not running after them; they have them built in, but they're
running
with them around.
I know, but still, it's the.
But it is a drive. I mean, it is a drive. I mean, you have to recognize the drives. I'm not saying. Then again, being a man, I try to defend ourselves a bit here. I'm not saying that is all we are thinking about. All I'm saying, it is a strong drive. And of course, that
and
to certain...
And we will go to the younger then, because, it's kind of assuming that men have a sexual drive, whereas women have a lesser sexual drive.
Oh, no, sure.
Which is, because if you run after your penis, why I wouldn't do this for my...
Oh, no. I would never doubt that. That my experience tells me that, if anything, it's the other way around. But, that being said, again, statistics just are statistics, I mean, they literally looked into hundreds of thousands of data sets and found these correlations. So there seems to be something to that, whether we like it or not.
We don't, and I will stop here because we don't need statistics for this.
Okay.
It's just confirming what we see
yes.
all over,
around,
and it's such a sad reality that is pushing women to enhance themselves in so many ways, so men can have this very primitive driver switched on and say, okay, the other day I was discussing, and I'm not sure it's the right place to share this with a taxi driver. I'm discussing a lot with taxi drivers.
It's taxi drivers and hairdressers. Those are the people you want to share with.
But we were discussing the fillers in the lips. And he was like, there is only one thing I think about when I see these lips, and I will not say it here. And I'm like, yes, that's why.
That's the signal.
That's the signal. Yes. You're right.
Yes.
And now we have this signal so much all over the place. Everybody is sending this signal. So it becomes much less worth it. Because if everybody can indicates that that's it. I'm there. I'm ready. At least I haven't thought about this, but I put myself in a status where if I'm asked, I got the hardware is there.
Yes.
So and but it's so we are kind of worshipping this drive when it comes from men, but when it's a woman, and I'm not doing a feminist speech here, even though I would like to.
No, please do. Please go ahead. I mean,
and whereas a woman is declaring some more sexual desires, then she is.
If I may, I'm not sure that this is entirely correct. I wouldn't say it's entirely wrong, but I don't think it's entirely correct, because then again, experiences in dating, online dating, and so on, and all these things, then also some studies I could cite here. You do have these things that women say, okay, I'm not dating somebody below 180, or I'm not dating you if, or there was a study that's very often cited, it's Facebook wisdom, I know, about ideal male body types chosen by women, and the ideal body type is the V-shaped body type that not so many men actually do have. So in a way, there is, if you want to be very successful in the dating market these days as a guy, there is a certain pressure that you feel to go to the gym, to eat right, to not do these things, do other things. And you also see it in the media that you have more and more men in the movies, in the TV series that almost look unrealistic. It's very hard for a normal man with a normal job and a normal genetic setup to compete there. But then again, expectations also on the female side are informed. by these media pictures.
Come on, we will not talk how poor men now
I'm not
victims of the expectations that the cinema. It has been years, and
all I'm saying is that these
expectations about women.
All I'm saying is that these expectations exist here too.
Oh my gosh!
No, I'm not saying. No. It's not where I'm going. It's not where I'm going. You're pushing me way too far in this direction.
But all I'm saying go on your own. I'm not pushing.
All I'm saying is.
Oh my gosh, men have to go to the gym. Come on. After all, everything women do to look good now. Poor things, they have to go to the gym.
Actually, it's very enjoyable to go to the gym, I should say that.
It's a good thing. But that's a problem actually with the older men. They really look old. It's not about going to the gym. Yeah. It's not about having this salt and pepper hair or etc. They do look old. Yeah. There is, and it's really like, as they say in French, les fonds de tiroir. It's like the end of the drawers, the bottom of the drawer. You go there like you go there.
I have a few pieces there. Yes.
Yeah, it's like poof, but the ones who. And it's always a balance in men behavior and the men taking care of themselves. They either go into, okay, I don't care, whatever, or into, okay, let me put hair on, let me go to the gym, let me be so. And then they think that they have invested so much in this that they will sell themselves very expensive. Because, you see, I made an effort. It's like, regardless the fact that women do all these efforts since day one, and until they...
Yeah, but if I may... sorry, I'm trying to be... probably I give myself another slap here.
Yeah.
But on the danger of that, here's the thing. Distribution curve. It's not so much... and reciprocal act for a women do this, that is why I do that. It's more like, okay, here's the distribution of men in my age group and how can I set myself apart? So if you do that, again, for the reason to impress the fairer sex, to go to the gym, to not smoke, to eat well, to have
the not smoke is not part of the looking well.
Apologize for that. To get your hair, by the way, I will get some hair in November. So just to put myself here in the distribution curve, just to be completely honest and transparent here. So I'm one of these guys. You don't look on the other side of the divide, to the other gender specifically. Of course, implicitly, but not explicitly. You look at your peers and say, how can I get into 1 percentile or whatever better within...
All this to chase younger.
No, that's the weird thing is, here's the weird thing. We always think, and then I'm not sure about the ladies. You have to say that. But when men go to the gym or when they do these things, they do that for the ladies. And that is, I have to say, and I say this pretty confidently with a high confidence, that is not entirely true. Yes, there is a factor in that maybe I can impress the ladies, but there's also this factor that you just want to feel good. You want to feel. For a man, it's so important to be competitive, that he can do the thing, that he can provide.
I have another explanation on this. It's like men are not multitasking, not multithinking.
Oh, they're not.
And when they decide that, okay, I found a game, as my psychologist tells me, don't take boys their toys.
Yes,
so
don't do that ever.
Yeah, so they find a toy. It could be gym.
The gym, yes.
And I know one of my exes decided that he will run, he will do jogging.
Oh, yeah. But that's almost a cliche. That's almost a cliche, I should say.
And I was running during my jogging like 5 years, something like this, with a pair of sneakers, and that's it.
I know where this is going. In your
and he did it twice, and then ended up with the thing that was measuring his pulse, with with the application of one, whether the thing, the water under his arm, whatever, like all a scientific approach. So he comes running with me, and he was like, "Okay, now you will run slow, then we will run fast." And I'm like, "Leave me alone! I'm doing this 3 times a week." For years, and I don't have any of these devices. We had to go back home complete silence. The thing is sending the information to the way. What you're doing? You're not going to the moon. You're just running in the park. Calm down.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, that is. I have to admit...
So then they go to the
yes.
gym, and it's not any regular gym.
Yes.
They need to study.
Yes.
Oh, okay, now I will take proteins. I will do this muscle, that muscle, whatever it is. I will read this book. I will become a very big adept of this school. Everything else is crap.
Yes.
But this particular... Can't you just go to the gym and shut up? Like, just do your thing, and that's it. Like, it's not a nuclear science. So that's why men, when they decide, okay, I will invest in myself, it becomes the thing, the science. Everything will converge to this. So the daily agendas, the way of eating, the way of dressing, the way the topics we discuss, etc. It's single maniac. Like, go there. It's not just a kind of healthy, entertaining activity that you do because it's cool. No. So
it can become the centerpiece and purpose of your life, basically. It's a purpose substitute.
And they're so proud of them, so they can't stop taking pictures of themselves. So you go to Tinder, you see them, okay, I went to the gym 3 years, I'm like big like this. I'm so proud of this that if possible, I will walk naked all day long so people can see all the investment I made in a very scientific way, for sure.
Just for you, I will post a Facebook story tomorrow of me in the gym. I will do that.
I have seen you in the gym. But let's talk about young men. Now, because the old men...
I have so many questions left.
They are so happy, they are so proud. This is the thing. They're so proud that it's like you're reading, even in their profiles, it's like fit and healthy. I don't care. I discussed this in the previous podcast. Me personally, I'm talking about myself here, obviously.
Yes.
I prefer somebody who loves life, even though not so healthy and much more fun, and not going to the gym and having some overweight, rather these monomaniacs that will go there, will have nothing else.
I get your point, but I think we erected to a certain extent. Then it's always good to go to the extreme, but to a certain extent we erected a straw man here, because not all men take it to those extremes. Here's my question to you. An answer from the bottom of your heart, and I have my answer if you want. If you can choose between a guy, and then you're not yet invested emotionally, but you know in this assessment phase. If you can choose between a guy who loves life, but who loves it maybe a bit too much, you know, and has this belly thing, and you know, and then you have this guy, who goes to the gym, who looks good, who looks great, keeps care of himself, but still loves life and doesn't overdo it, you know, but is fit.
It's impossible.
Impossible. Let's go through our address books, and I bring you at least 10 of these guys.
Okay.
So maybe I have a positive. I noticed I was very often accused of having a positive selection of friends, and maybe I do. But then again, I can't be the only one.
It's a kind of black swan there. Like
but then if your argument is it's relatively rare, I wouldn't call it black swan because it's probably a term that goes too far. Yes. But if it's relatively rare, then I would say, and again, please, this is more like a discussion thing. I'm not high confidence here yet. I would say then this is more or less a question of choosing wisely, trying to look for that guy or that girl for the matter, because it works the other way around as well.
Oh no, but for the girls that doesn't apply. Because if a woman doesn't pay attention to what she eats, going to the gym, etc., she's out of the game. If you have 5 kilograms on top of what you are supposed to have, and you haven't done your hair, come on, you can be the most intelligent, the most funny, the whatever. You are not even entering the competition. Yeah, but and a man will always enter the competition. Doesn't matter if he has hair, he has a belly, he has whatever, even, money, etc. It's, for me at least, I think for women, this is much more secondary, rather than he's caring, he's loving, he's supportive, he's there, he's funny, he's everything like this. Who cares about how people look? How men look. That's my very superficial ladies will go for the guy, or they will have sex with the guy. Why not?
Yes.
And in general, we discussed with this, good-looking guys are not good in bed.
That's probably true, yes.
Yeah. That would be the statement of this podcast. From experience.
I could have some anecdotal knowledge about this.
It's so. A balance between, okay, not disgusting, you're not going with Quasimodo, but still a kind of average-looking guy who has much more energy and is fun and is caring and is there and is emotionally intelligent, and that's an ocean here, is able to analyze themselves. And by the way, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about 40 years old men. Because I had the chance to meet lately several of them, not dating them, but meeting several of them. And I haven't paid attention so much on this population. They just happened like former colleagues and different type of guys. But all of them around their 40s. And I noticed a big questioning. They are questioning themselves a lot. They are thinking about who they are, how they approach life. Some of them went through divorce. Some of them are wondering, should I divorce, should I not? Because it's a very tricky period. And that's for me a very delicate moment to date these people, especially when you are 50. And it's not because of the physical difference in our appearance or etc. It's because it's a very big crossroad, I would say. In general, they have small kids or they don't have kids, which is kind of surprising for me. I don't want to date 40 years old without kids. Because, first of all, I don't want to stop them having kids. Given that I can't have, if I push myself, I could produce something, but that's not the point.
The Janine
you
can be 54, I think she was.
I don't know, but they have the chance still to figure it out, to think twice whether they yes or no.
So could have somebody who was 50. I mean,
exactly, but in 40 in particular, they
the question is more pressing, I would say.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, I get it.
So I will not stand in their road to and their reflection towards creating a family, starting a family or not. So I'm out of people without kids in their 40s. The ones who have kids, the kids are small, so they are like, okay, it's a lot of logistics, that's one, but still. The question is, and I don't think they ask themselves enough this. I have a friend, he divorced, and he tries to make his daughter a counterpart in his existential searches, which is not exactly the perfect thing to do, but
probably
still
not.
worth it.
It's
not so bad.
Isn't it too much asked for the daughter? I mean...
Yes and no. I would say me as a mother, I have always considered my kid as a full human being. And he's filtering probably the things he doesn't understand. He,
doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
They just flow to another
somewhere else.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
My mother is again in her world somewhere.
Somewhere where I can't follow.
But still he keeps some of my reflections in the way I'm approaching life, and this since he's like since day one actually. I don't, with kids it's always a surprise, but it's, and you're there and you could ask yourself who I would like my kids to see at some point of time. And there is this big, the history knows cases where the kids would come to you and tell you, I haven't asked you to stay there and to do all these sacrifices. You should have divorced. You're there like thinking about, okay, let me keep this, let me do that, etc., because it's good for them, etc. And kids are perfectly able and totally empowered to come to you and to tell you, listen, you were supposed to be the adult. Yes. You were supposed to make the choices that are good for you, that are good for everybody. I haven't asked anything. Yeah. But my point is
here. Isn't that a healthy thing?
Yeah.
That's a healthy point of view.
That for me, but that's another topic probably. My first responsibility is as a parent, now I think like this, it's to teach my kid how to take care of himself. And if I don't show this by example, it's just words. Like,
of course.
Because at end of the day, that's the only thing you are responsible of, yourself. It's very stoicism-like, but this is the only thing that you can control. It's yourself. Yeah. Everything else is...
Now you can control yourself and you can control your surrounding and so far as you can remove yourself from certain situations.
Yes, but it's still yourself.
Yes, of course.
You decide, you are the moving parts that you can leverage and move here or there, etc. Yes. But I get it when you are 40, especially when you are a man, you have a career to build, you have a lot of things to prove to the world, to yourself. Because the ghost of aging is there for you as well, so you don't know, your physical condition may decline, the big fear of men that they will not be able to have erections, that they will not be able to do the thing.
Which can be a problem, let's be very clear about this. I don't know,
but and how long and how often and etc. And am I man enough? Am I professional enough? You know that the big identity questions, there are 3 identity questions all the time. It's, am I lovable enough? Am I competent enough? And am I a good person? So everything else is a breakdown of these 3.
It's either a subset or a mix.
Or mix, but these are the 3 main ones. Yeah. Yes. So, and when you're 40, I guess, I remember... I'm a woman. I'm in a different setup because I had a kid. I'm trying to create an environment. I tried and I still try to create an environment that is soft and welcoming and supportive. I'm not competitive in this direction. I just want to be mommy. That's everything I'm ambitious about. It's not. And men are in this. Big reflection of who I am and what consequences the decisions I make
That's a very good point. Min, and I can talk about myself, but also talk about my friends. What we constantly do that is correct, we look into the mirror and ask ourselves, am I good enough? Maybe not as specifically as you said in these 3, am I lovable, am I competent? But we look into the mirror and say, am I good enough? Am I good enough of a man? That's true.
And, because, in your 30s, I would say, for a man, you run. You just go and you...
You're on warrior mode.
You compile things like, okay, the wife, the house, the kids, the whatever, I'm just doing them. And then, and I start a job, etc. And I'm always very afraid. And I'm talking about myself, obviously, of single experiences. When you have somebody who has a single experience in work, in love life, in country. It's like, this is like when your reference point, doesn't matter in which area, is a single experience. So I have worked in this company the last 20 years. For you, that's my... Okay, I'm on the other extreme. I have so many experiences with jobs, men, countries, etc., which is probably not so healthy neither, but the single experience is scary for me. It's really, and probably it creates some frustrated people in their 50s and 60s to say, okay, now I spent like 20 years in this job, probably there was a wonderful world outside. and realm of possibilities, and I didn't even try.
Yeah, but there's a question for you. There's a question for you, and I deviate a bit from the age gap thing, but it's important to me because I had this discussion just today. Literally today when I was in the gym, by the way. I was literally in the gym. Oh, I am bragging because I will post a story tomorrow. You will see.
Okay, why tomorrow? Why haven't you posted
because today I have posted another story, so you can't. Yeah.
By the way, he's so active. I don't know if he's posting tons of things. Anyways,
probably fear of death.
Everything is fear of death.
Everything is a fear of death. Yes. So no, and there is a German proverb which he quoted, and he said, "I'd rather have the sparrow in my hand than the dove on the roof."
Oh yeah.
Ja, so den Spatz in der Hand als die Taube auf dem Dach. And what it means, I guess it's obvious.
Yeah, in Bulgarian we say instead of running after the wild, keep the domesticated.
Yes. Yeah. So my point is it really? I mean, and he seems to be, and I believe him because he's a reflected guy. He seems to be very happy and content and okay with the situation. So he has his wife, he has his kid, he has his work, which is very not high paying, but it's very secure work. It gives him meaning. There's meaning in his work. And he lives close to Munich in a rather small town.
Sounds so boring.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's incredibly boring. Yeah. How can you manage? He says it was the best thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but here we agree. There are people and people. Okay. There are people who will be happy with. Okay, I bought this wonderful table and I saved money 10 months, and now here you go. I have this furniture in my. Why not? All good.
Yeah.
Then, but then when you are in this mode, you don't end up single when you're 50. You can end up.
That is true.
You can end up in a very, very miserable marriage.
There's a good likelihood that will happen.
Yeah,
but yes,
you are so used to the misery, and that's the easiest thing to get used to.
Because
misery
you also
is very easy.
Have something to compare. Yeah?
No,
again, single experience.
But then you find little pleasures in this table that you will buy, like or
meeting the guys for the bowling.
Yeah,
once
exactly.
a week. Yes.
Which is
so that's
why
a getaway.
not? Yeah. You haven't been excited or you haven't been surprised for years, but it's predictable, even though it's not always predictable. It's predictable. It's clear. It's calm. It's cool.
It has at least the illusion of predictability, doesn't it?
But I'm single. You're single. We have traveled the world. We have been here. We have changed jobs. We have tried things, etc. Me being me. Ending up with somebody who is excited by the table, and like I said, the conversation about the curtains, it's not.
As you know, I'm just thinking about apartments, and I'm literally fascinated by bookshelves.
Yeah.
So I hope you still remain my friend.
Yeah.
No,
it's another thing.
Trying to explain the neural pathway.
Yeah, but it's another thing.
I get it. So just put it like.
And men in their 40s, I would say, they still don't know who they are.
Yes.
They have choices to make, and you have been there.
Yes.
Yeah. All this fuss, all this questioning, etc. Now you are in a place. I'm talking about me, and probably you, when you know that there are pleasures in life, that some things happen, but they may not happen. That there is you have to catch the moment. You have to catch the situation. You have to.
Ride the wave.
You have to enjoy. Yes. And yes, because you're aware that there will always be a routine, something that you will do as your 78 years old parents who watch the weather forecast, blah blah, 3 times a day. But in between, you can create some joy and some surprises and some alarms, even as Radiohead sing.
It's always good to listen to Radiohead and to cite
the great
wisdom.
But at some point, you have to appreciate these moments of like extraordinary, outstanding situations.
Yeah, I very much agree. But I very much agree more than you. No, probably you do know how much I agree. But let's just circle that back to the overarching topic that we have, which is the age gap. Right. How does it? Now that we showed all these mechanisms, here's the routine, here's the seeking for all these spaces that are extraordinary and exciting. How does this circle back into this age gap thing? I mean, if I am that person who is looking for this excitement, should I look for a younger partner, or should I try to educate my older partner? Do I look for just the right partner?
It's a fight in there. My answer is so trivial. As you really should focus 5 years up, 5 years down. At least
then try to find the right fit in that.
Because young men, they are so exciting with the fact that they teach you a number of things, and I'm somebody who is fascinated by what I can learn from other people. Yes. Doesn't matter. And you would think that all the people would teach you more, but no. Actually, younger people help you discover.
Of course, because they're connected to the current thing.
Because before it was like age, experience, you have seen more things. Now it's the opposite. They grow older and they get more restricted. My son knows so many more things than me. He even knew the thing of Oppenheimer, the famous quote about "I am death" or whatever. I
could have told you that.
I know, but I didn't
become
know
death,
that.
the destroyer of worlds.
So not educated, and
which I haven't, but I have not become death. I hope I don't. But yes.
Anyway, so the excitement of being with a young man, let alone the fact that they can party, that they have the energy of everything, is that they know things that you don't know. And but it's too risky. Okay. It's really too risky.
That's very interesting. Let's stay here for just 1 second, and then I have one more question. But just 1 second. I heard what you say, but here's what I heard. What I heard is it's very interesting to date younger people, you men and women, because they teach you a lot, you learn a lot, they have connections to things that you don't know, but probably the probability is that it's not going to work long forward into the future. So, but what does it leave us with? I mean, as a choice, does it mean we stay single and date younger people to stay connected to the current thing?
Why not?
Why not? That's a fantastic thing to say.
Yeah, it could be like several little stories.
Yes.
Till the day you kind of give up and you say, okay, let me date the 70-year-old.
Yes. And now I'm ready for that. Yes.
Let me just watch the news 3 times a day because I'm done with this. But I would say that obviously, having said all this, I think it's so individual and people at 40 that are so clear with themselves, people at 50 who don't know who they are and they will search themselves and never find themselves somewhere, whatever that means.
Because there's nothing to find.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, by the way, we will announce the next topic at the end of this. But I just want to say it's risky.
Yes.
It's really risky. And it's not risky for the reasons I thought in the beginning, because my first impression was, okay, I'm old. I have wrinkles, I have, my skin is not so toned as it used to be.
You do look fantastic. And
okay, but
it.
I'm still 50,
yes,
52.
Yes. So.
And, there is so many more opportunities, younger ladies, very attractive, very whatever, etc. And that was my first very superficial, yes, I get it, concern. But actually, it's not the biggest concern.
What is the biggest concern?
The biggest concern is that you are not at the same place in life.
Diana, that is so interesting because doesn't that lead to the question? This is a thing we didn't discuss yet. It's not just about two people. It's always about surroundings and a social circle. Now, if I have somebody who's 10 years younger or older than me, And it's not just where I am in life, where they am in life, it's also about where my social circle is in life. My colleagues, my acquaintances, my friends, and so on. How does this dynamic work? I mean, you have somebody who's completely in a different part of their life.
It doesn't. All the society will jump against you.
Yes.
And it's like, and let us quote her, Esther Perel. It's this wonderful therapist, a couple therapists. She was, I sent you the link. She was saying there is a love story and a life story. And in the life story, when you turn a love story with a younger man or older man into a life story, you have to negotiate with the family, with the business, with the finance, because in general, 40 years old men are not earning as much as you do. They have less, because you have 10 years
of accumulating
wealth. So it's like, but the family, the society, the rents, the how you introduce this person. Imagine you're 40 years old, you introduce, here's Diana, she's 50. Everybody looks at you like, okay, I hope that nobody will introduce me by my age, but still.
Would be a weird thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, okay, this is my ID.
But I get your point. At some point...
you need to negotiate all this. So the love story has to be very, very strong to take the hit. It's the same with the older man. You go with an older man, there is all the stereotypes of the society. Oh, she's with him for the money, nobody wants her because she has to have something that is not compatible with... first of all, she's single at 50. What's wrong with her?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, come on. She couldn't keep a man, and now she's trying to go into different direction, either because she's too horny or whatever. Not horny. What's the word? Bitchy. I don't know. Whatever.
There's nothing wrong with being too horny. It's always good.
But you are perceived. One of my exes, when I told him I was dating somebody on Tinder or something like this, oh, you cougar.
Of course, yes.
Leave me alone.
That is something you will hear, yes. I get the point. Get the message.
It's not that I'm running after fresh meat.
Well, even if you were, what's wrong? No. Let's say for 1 second, or 30 seconds, maybe. If you were, what's wrong? It's an honest question. No, it's an honest question. What's wrong with that? Why would you not do that if that's something?
Women are not supposed to. That's the big separation. You are either Saint Mary or the other one. I don't know her name.
I know. But let's leave the Über-Ich out here, the super ego. I mean, your personal ego. What would it say?
Me?
Yes.
You. I'm totally fine with me having my sexual appetite and being...
That is my point. No, doesn't that mean then, I mean, all these, and again, you're a psychologist here, and I leave this to you, the final judgment. But from my perspective as a simple
But you know that it took me 20 years to be comfortable with this?
Yes, of course. It's
not something that comes by default.
No, I'm not saying it's an easy process. I'm just asking. And this is a simple
there
question.
is nothing wrong. I can say now,
yes.
Even though I have moments when I feel ashamed, when I feel uncomfortable, when I'm like...
the super ego doesn't let you go.
Exactly. It kills you. It hits whenever it has the opportunity
super
to hit.
Is a bitch, yes.
And it's so... But I can manage this, I can handle this, sometimes more successful than others, but still. But the society is not there. And it's like you take Macron, you take whatever, you wonder what this lady is doing, and he's probably gay. Because there is no way...
There's no other explanation. He must be gay, and that's why... I get it, yes.
So there is something wrong
either with... explanation to me, but...
but even if you take Heidi Klum and whoever, the young... the Tokyo guy, but she's a supermodel. She's not Karen from the supermarket.
But yes.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad that we found two good examples, because I was afraid that the distribution curve would be heavily skewed towards the other way around. But I get your point. No, it's nothing wrong with that, but it's complicated. The judgment, the social circle.
And there are very few men
Yes.
that are so at ease with their masculinity and their virility to afford a sexually active woman. I can tell you for experience.
Is that the case?
Yeah, it's no, but it's very. You have to be very calm and very at peace with who you are as a man. Don't have to try to overachieve, etc. We agreed that we will not talk about sex in this podcast because of our respective.
Yes. This is not sex. It's about expectations. May I offer one vantage point? And that's not even my vantage point. It's a vantage point of an ex-wife of mine. And she... No. And I think it's interesting because we sometimes have sociological issues in here where neither of us is an expert, to be honest.
No.
Neither are you nor am I. And there's a thing we discussed about what do you expect from your wife in marriage. And she's Eastern Europe culturally, Eastern European, but living in Central Europe. And her explanation, she's very intelligent, marriage doesn't work, but she's very intelligent, was that that's a cultural explanation. And it's more pronounced in Eastern Europe, where you would expect your wife not to be sexually too interested, because then she might be what did we have, Maria Magdalena and Saint Mary? Yeah, so she might be more into the Magdalena direction, which you don't want in a marriage because it's sacred. You want the Maria, you want the Holy Mother. Yes?
Yeah.
Which is why you buy lingerie maybe for your mistress, but not for your wife. And if she would buy it for herself, you would think, what's wrong with her, you know? But I can say, as a Central European, culturally, that is not the expectation. The further you get west.
I have experience in France.
Yes.
Let's not list, but
France is a special case.
Yeah, and it's not so comfortable. It's something that men will brag about. That that all women magazines will write about. That you have to, and be careful. From time to time, you have to take the initiative as a woman.
Yes.
Be careful not to do it all the time, because there it's screwed. But from time to time, it's a good thing to do it. Otherwise, the man is the leading one. It's a wishful thinking. So from, you are kind of allowed to show some desire, some drive for sex. But from there to go and declare, I am somebody who is sexually interested or interested in sex, whatever, and to stand behind this, not just say, okay, can we do this tonight, but declare it, generally to say, yes, I love this.
I'm a sexual person. I'm a person made of flesh and blood.
I'm not I'm not running across the streets to look for a partner. I just
but it's a
appreciate
thing
the thing. That's it.
Yes.
And if it's but there is a huge gap between get yourself drunk and just tell the guy, oh, why don't we go to bed, and being completely sober in a Sunday afternoon. I'm not completely sober, but doesn't matter, and say one glass.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, and say, okay, this is something that I'm interested in, and why we are talking about this?
No, actually, we were coming here from the point of the social expectation. And your point was, I think, that if a man has an older woman, he needs to be very secure in his masculinity.
Yes.
That was where you came from.
Yes.
And maybe you should close this thought.
Yes.
With some wrapper, because I'm not completely convinced yet, I have to say, that, I mean, is sexuality the driver here?
No.
No,
it's one of the things.
It's one of the things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just to conclude, it's risky, guys. It's very risky.
Yeah. And there's one risk, by the way, that we haven't discussed yet. May I tell a story? And I heard the story last week. But I have to tell it to you, sorry. Because I have a friend whom you not yet know, but you need to know her. And she told me this story about, she dated a man who was 15 years older than her. And they dated 2-3 times. And then she said, you know what happened? He died.
Oh, shit.
How impolite,
Sorry.
how inconsiderate.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a big risk. That can happen.
Yeah, let's not close our thing here.
No.
But they just make sure that you love each other because you go to before you go to the age differences. Otherwise, the whole life will be against you. The whole society and everything.
So there needs to be a strong bond.
Yeah, it needs to be there. And if it's not like, that's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
next time we will talk about meaning of life.
the meaning of life.
That's a tricky one.
That's a tricky one. Oh, no,
We may change our minds, but I like this one. Okay.
I don't know.
What?
Like and subscribe.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. Everybody who saw this, like and subscribe. Do it now. It doesn't cost you anything. For us, it's a big help.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.